Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna cover Insecure season 4 episode 8. So we have 2 more episodes to go before the season has ended. This episode, I want to say, if you kind of go back to the initial episodes that I had covered before, I was right. Issa and Lawrence do get together, and they get together in such a beautiful way. I don't know if they're going to stay together. I don't know if this relationship is going to last, nor at this point do I care. I'm just really glad that they got to get everything out in the open and they got to talk like grown-up adults. So the scene takes place from last episode. So when Lawrence meets Molly and Andrew and he's talking on the phone telling someone that he wants to meet them, we find out it's Issa. So he decides to meet Issa at this bar kind of dance restaurant place, and which seems like an amazing place. I love the vibe and I like the atmosphere there. So he wants to have a very serious conversation about their relationship, and they're beginning to see that this place is not it. When Issa arrives, she's awkward as awkward can be and ends up face planting on the floor in front of everybody. But as to Lawrence, he knows how clumsy she is, so like it wasn't that embarrassing, but it was embarrassing for me because I was just like, girl, everybody's seeing you. So they're trying to talk, and he alluded to having something to tell her. So she's kind of a little weirded out that he had contacted her out of the blue to have a conversation, but she's kind of just like, okay, so like, what do you need to tell me? And as he's trying to tell her something, the music all of a sudden, and they start playing Lizzo, the music starts blasting, people start dancing and running into them, guys taking an order in front of them, so they decide to move somewhere else. And I like how, before they leave this venue, Lawrence is in conversation with Condola, and he was supposed to meet Condola on some day, and she decided that she couldn't do it that day and if he could meet her that night. So Lawrence essentially gave Condola the status of like, I have something I'm doing right now, but like when I'm done, I'll come over, I'll talk to you, or like whatever. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh God. I'm like, why is he here for then? And like, it's already late in the night. What time are you trying to go to this girl's house? Because they were trying to go to Condola's house at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock. Miss me with that shit. Because you're not coming over to my house at that time. Plus they're gonna have a full-blown dinner. So they go to the other venue, and while they're at the old venue, Lawrence, I guess because they didn't drive, Lawrence orders, I guess, an Uber X or something like that, the higher end Uber, and like Issa kind of like points out like, oh my God, you're a little fancy. So they're in the Uber, and this woman she's a talker one, she's not a silent one, and she's talking about black love. She's so excited to see them together, and they were trying to convince her that like, no, we're not on a first date, like we're not together, but she wasn't hearing it, so they decided to play along with it. And they're from Alaska, and Lawrence had said like, oh, I even got her a ring, which it kind of sticks with Issa, and she brings it up later. So they get to the restaurant, which Issa lied to Lawrence and told Lawrence that she had never been there, just for the fact that like he hadn't been there. And he takes too long to order, so she's like, don't worry, I got you. Orders everything under the sun. And then they have the serious conversation of just like, and like this conversation was so refreshing because it was so frank and so open. There's no animosity, there was no hatred towards one another, there's no like F you, well F you too. I felt like they were just displaying facts. So Lawrence understandably asked Issa, like, why Daniel, like, is it Daniel for a reason, or would it just been anybody? She didn't really give a clear enough answer, but she said, like, Daniel was there, Daniel was paying attention to her, the attention that she seeked from Lawrence that she wasn't getting. And then Issa had talked to Lawrence about the depression and just the way that he was in, like, the mood he was in. I don't want to call it a mood because it was way more than that, but the mindset he was in, that's the word, at that time. And just like, I tried everything I could to get you out of there, and he was in there for a year. And it was so bad, and maybe because I don't remember the lack of communication they had and how terrible they both felt, were to the point that Issa didn't even want to come home, and Lawrence wanted to leave and go back home to his, like, hometown, I guess. And Lawrence said, like, I don't know if it was like this manly macho-ness in him that he couldn't be honest and tell her what's going on, even though it's not good, and being depressed is nothing that anyone wants to talk about. But he was saying, like, how he felt watching his girl get up every morning and go to work, and then go to work for a company that she absolutely hated. She was working to live, and she was miserable while he was wallowing in his depression, and he saw that, and it was like a never-ending circle because he couldn't find a way to get out of it. And they discussed her cheating and how he was able to take that, and because he had someone else to blame but himself for his actions, he was able to better himself. And like, everything they are talking about from both perspectives, I totally and completely understand. There's never an excuse for cheating, but there's always a reason behind it. It might not be a valid reason, it might not be a good reason, it might not be the reason you want to hear, but there's always a reason for why people do what they do. I don't believe people just do things because they're on autopilot and it's like they're in zombie mode. I feel like there's always a reason, but it doesn't have to be a good reason, it doesn't have to be a bad reason, but there's always a reason. So it was nice kind of back and forth understanding both their perspectives, and I feel like they're both seeing how good they are with each other. And Lawrence answered the question that we had received a couple episodes ago, when Condola asked him, would he still be with Issa? And the answer is yes. He thought about it, and he would still be with Issa. Issa was everything he was looking in a woman. They have chemistry, they have rapport, they have a friendship, they have the physical connection, they have a lot of things in common, but this part in their relationship was, because it lacked so much communication, it just tore it apart. Because even Issa was not communicating, because she realized she was not seeking this attention, and instead of talking to Lawrence about this, she went to Daniel. But she regretted it, and Daniel wasn't a person who she thought that, like, oh, this is who I'm going to be with, or anything like that. And we figured from the different seasons of her dealing with him. So all of this is happening, and it's just like, oh my, like, and it's so cute to see them together. It's so cute to see the banter. It's so cute to see that they both are seeing the good in them. They're seeing changed mindset and changed mentality amongst both of them. They see growth in these people, which I was just like, oh, I see growth in you guys too. It's always nice when you see growth. And so they are leaving, and mind you, Lawrence is telling Condola, like, yeah, I'm gonna come, like, you know, so it's just a thing that he's doing. Which I'm like, what are you doing so late at night? So they have this awkward, like, they're standing by the curb and they're trying to figure out what to do. When TSA Bay comes and it's like, oh, what's up, Issa? And I was just like, please don't embarrass her. Please don't embarrass her. He embarrassed her a little bit, but it's a past fling, it's a past relationship, and he had his new girl. There was no hatred. It was all just like, hey, we used to smash. That's cool. Alright, cool. Bye. And Lawrence was making fun of her. He thought it was funny. And to be fair, Lawrence can't say nothing because Issa had to basically be friends with the girl. Not had to, but she was friends with the girl that you were effing. So, like, stop it. So then you see Lawrence. So T.S. Bay had talked about going to this art crawl or art walk thing, and Issa had said like, hey, when's the last time you've been there, blah 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 blah. So then Lawrence is on his phone and he's like, oh, you have fun there, I'll see you. Gives her like a little like smooch and then walks away. And I was just like, oh my god, no, hell no, this guy's on his bullshit again and blah blah blah. But then you see Lawrence just turn around and he was like joking. I'm like, oh, thank god, because that was a big a-hole move. So they go into this art walk and they're talking more. They find out that it didn't look down the street the way Issa was walking, but they live very close to each other and talking about what they want for their futures. Lawrence has been going to different cities to see if he can get different opportunities. He's really thought and figured out what he wants with his career. Issa is slowly figuring that out, but she really likes the idea of doing these kind of block party, doing cultural events focused around black people. She just needs to figure out how to make money at it, which I don't blame her. So everything is getting really good. And then they took, I guess, an Uber to Lawrence's house because I forgot what it's called, what you do what you do with Lyft, but you can put on multiple rides. So they give a hug, and it's kind of awkward because they're also in the car too, so that's like an awkward way to say bye to somebody. And then Lawrence tells the Lyft driver, like, hold on, wait right here. She'll be back in 5 minutes. And Lawrence says, like, I want to show you what my place is. Because initially, they had a conversation on Lawrence living in a bachelor pad, living on a mattress on the floor, just living like dirt. And he wanted to prove to her, like, I'm a grown man. So he brings her to his apartment, and in that art crawl, he had bought artwork. So she kind of does it. She does like a survey of his place, and it's like, oh my god, his place is really nice and it's good. And then she says, can I use the washroom? When that girl said, can I use the washroom, I was like, this girl's not leaving. This girl's not leaving. This girl's staying. So I'm just like, this girl's not leaving. This girl's here to freshen up and to talk herself into staying, but this girl's not leaving tonight. So then Lawrence, because Condola's like blowing up his phone being like, yo, where are you? It is probably very late. And he goes outside and talks to Condola and says, I'm doing something right now. I'm handling it. I will let you know if things change and blah 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 blah. Which I'm just like, what are you handling so late at night? At this point, Condola should have just rescheduled, so I don't know why she was still trying to figure out where he was. Especially because you already agreed on a date and then you changed it to an earlier date. So then Lawrence comes inside and he sees Issa, and Issa seems like she's like heard the conversation, and he was like apologizing for like, I'm sorry, I didn't want you to hear that. And she was asking, is this Condola? And he said yes, and not that we're together. And I felt like he was making excuses like, we're not together though, I'm not with her, but like she wanted to talk to me, so like that's why I'm only doing this. He was like justifying it. And then she said, well, what if I don't want this night to be over? What if I don't want to go home? What if I want to talk to you? What if? And he had those same feelings of just like, well, I don't want you to leave either, and I'm enjoying the night. I'm liking everything. So, which results in them kissing and then making love, even though I can't say they're in love now, but making love. And then they wake up in the morning and Issa leaves. It's a bit awkward because it was just weird, with her just like being like, okay, bye, in her ugly grandma sweater. And she walked home. And I feel like as she walked home, she was thinking and reflecting on the conversations they had, the night itself, and she was happy. She's happy where she is in her life. She's happy that this situation happened. She's happy about a lot of things. And I'm very happy for her because that's the best feeling when you're just happy being yourself. So yeah, the next episode is when the confrontation between Molly and Issa, but I'm always here for Issa, so I was just like, oh, I'm so glad, you guys. I'm so glad that she's found some closure, whether they're together or not. Like, it doesn't matter. They got everything they wanted to get off their chest, and if that was the last time they saw each other, I'm totally fine with this. So that ends my recap of Insecure Season 4 Episode 8. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could front love, maybe I could buy a zip, maybe I get fucked up. Next time I could save some. Why it's gotta be like this? Why it's gotta be that way? Put it inside. Feel so rise up, banging on that loud.